Hey everybody, it's Dana and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm playing with the new release from Gina K Designs, and I had the pleasure of playing with this beautiful stamp set. This stamp set here is called Beautiful Backyard, and I love the butterflies and the birds and the nature scenes in this, as well as a lot of the sentiments. I'm going to be using some white cardstock here. This is the Gina K Luxe White, and I also have a rainbow of happy colors of Gina K's ink. I'll make sure to list all the products down below, but let's go ahead and start making a card. So I want to first start out with the largest butterfly, because I want this butterfly to have a really cool rainbow gradient. Now, to achieve this, I have two tips for you. When you're putting down your color, the easiest way I found to put down these colors is to kind of skip every color in between. So you see I don't have orange there and I don't have green, because I know the red and the yellow is going to give my orange, and the yellow and the blue is going to give me my green. I also always like to use a sponge dauber for this. This just kind of gives me a softer look without having some of the harsh gradient lines. So as you can see, I put down some of that ink, and that ink was lipstick. And then I went ahead and I pressed that down. So as you can see, I'm going to get a very light color. So when you're using the foam daubers, it's going to give you a softer color, but you can build that color up by just stamping twice. So as you can see, I inked that up again. I'm going to go ahead and press that down, and I have my first color. Now when I come in with the yellow, I'm going to blend that red and yellow together. You also want to make sure that you clean off your stamp between your colors. So as I go in with the yellow, I'm going up a little bit higher so I can get into some of that red. So when I press that down, you're going to see that I get a nice little gradient between the red and the yellow. I'm going to add a little bit more of that yellow in because I want to kind of deepen up that orange, and I pull back, and you can see the top of my wings are a little bit lighter, and then I fall into that red yellow zone. Next, again, I'm going to clean off that stamp. Now I did bring that yellow far enough down so when I put on this blue, I'm going to get that gradient to give me that green. So once more, I'll go in and I tap, 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 tap. And this is kind of with a light hand. I'm really not going too hard here. And I can go ahead and press that down. Now you're going to see I'm going to have some blue, but then I also got the green. Because remember, I mix the two colors together, they're overlapping each other, and it's going to give me that third color, or that in-between color that I'm looking for. Next, I will go in with the pink, and this one is Passion Pink. And let me go back and tell you what the yellow was. The yellow was Wild Dandelion, and the blue I used was Ocean Mist. So as you can see, I have a really pretty gradient between all of those colors, but again, I only use 4 ink cubes, but I was able to achieve all of those beautiful colors. I'm going back in just a little bit and tapping in some more of that pink so I can grab a little bit more of that purple. And look how gorgeous this is. Remember, it's a soft blend on here, so it's not going to be really harsh. It's going to give you a nice, delicate look, especially when you use those little daubers. Now, I do have the coordinating dies for this. Now, if you didn't have the coordinating dies, this butterfly will be super easy to fussy cut out because it is a larger image. I'm just going to go ahead and line up my die. I am going to grab a little bit of purple tape to hold everything in place while I run this through my die cut machine. Now, once I run this through my die cut machine, I'm going to set this aside because now I want to work on my back panel. So for the back panel, I want this to be a large card. So this is going to be a 5x7 card because I want to get my butterflies all the way across this page. And I want to do it in all of the rainbow colors that I had. So I will start off first with that lipstick. Now remember, Gina K has a beautiful range of colors. So you can totally pick what color, red, yellow, orange, greens, etc. that you want. These are just the colors I had in cube form that I just quickly grabbed to make this rainbow card. So my first butterfly is off on the edge. So I want it to be looking like it's flying off my page. Next, I'm going to bring in that orange butterfly, but I do want to grab myself a little transparency grid, and this is just going to help me kind of eyeball where I need that next butterfly to be. Because I know I need to fit at least 2 butterflies before I get to my green. So with having that grid mat, it kind of gives me a visual of where that next butterfly has to go. Now remember, you don't have to do this. You can totally eyeball it if you're comfortable with that. But I just found that using the grid, and that grid is just a cut down, what is those mats? Like Cricut mats that I just cut down to fit into my mini Misty, and that kind of gives me the opportunity to use that little grid piece either to stick paper on, or like I'm doing here, I can just use it to help me line up things. Now remember, you don't have to use this sticky mat. It just kind of helps me line things up. So I kind of measured where my green would go, because I know my green is going to be right in the center, and lined up where my yellow is going to go. Because remember, my green is going to sit between my warm colors and my cool colors. So I just kind of want to make sure I have enough room to fit everything. And again, by using that sticky mat or a grid, that's going to help you kind of knock it to the point where you get to the edge of something and you're like, okay, I don't have enough space for that next color. Once I have that down, I can now go on to my green. Another bonus of using either a transparency sheet, a sticky mat, is that you're not putting your stamp directly on your paper. So if there is a little bit of residue ink, it's not getting on my paper first, because I'm putting it onto that sticky mat, and it's not going to mess up that paper. Now I'm going to come in with that green, and the green is a Lucky Clover. I can clean off that butterfly, and again, I'm just going to be doing the same process, working my way through this butterfly. Now, what I love about Gina K's release, it is absolutely so gorgeous. I get the opportunity to play every month with at least one of her products, and I'm so happy I get the chance to, because she is just darling. I love her products, and everything she kind of brings to the table is just magic. I mean, who does not want pretty butterflies on a card? So as you can see here, I'm going to start at the bottom now. I'm going to start with that passionate pink right at the bottom, and then I'm going to work my way back up. So remember, I started with the red. I'm going to start with the pink on this, so I can kind of space out now where I need my blue and my purple. That's just another tip. So this way, if I had started with the blue and went to the purple, I might have ran out of space for that pink butterfly. So by starting with the pink and working my way back up, I'm able to make sure I get all those colors in. Now this purple I'm using is called Wild Lilac, and I'll go ahead and press that down. And you see, now I have just enough room to go ahead and get in that blue butterfly. And again, the blue is called Ocean Mist. So I'll go ahead and line that up right in the middle. Now remember, if you're a little off on this, I don't think anybody's really going to care. I mean, it's rainbow butterflies, people. I really don't think somebody's going to be like, this one's a little bit off by a hair of an inch. We make cards, they're handmade, so we just kind of embrace those things, right? So look how pretty these butterflies are. Absolutely love making this card. All right, now since I have that done, I need to find a place for my sentiment. I know my big butterfly is going to go over here, and look how gorgeous that gradient looks. So I need to fill in an area for my sentiment. So I can go to the top or the bottom of my card. So what I first want to do before I even stamp is I'm going to grab the stamp set and see what sentiment I want to put on this card. I know I want one that's a little bit bigger, not just like a straight line. So I want something that's going to take up a little bit more real estate, because I have a larger corner at the top and a little bit of a smaller one at the bottom. I think it's probably best to put the sentiment at the top, just going to see what it looks like below. And as you can see, it looks kind of crowded down there. So with putting it at the top, it's going to allow like my focus to kind of be even, if that kind of makes sense when I say that. So I'll go ahead and line this up. And again, this is going to be a 5x7 card, but the white panel that I'm stamping on now is about 1/4 of an inch smaller on two sides. So it's going to fit nicely on a 5x7 card. I can go ahead and stamp that down, and I used the Gina K black ink for this. And look how pretty that is. It absolutely, just a little bit of black to me really grounds a card. Now, since I have that done, I can go ahead and grab my butterfly, and look how pretty. I have all of the colors in my butterfly. Again, I only used the red, the yellow, the blue, and the pink to get all of those colors that I have on this card. I did want to pop this up, so I put a piece of foam tape on the back and a little bit of glue to adhere this down to my panel. Now, another thing, you'll see that my wings look like they're a little bit bowed. That's just because I very gently folded my butterfly in the middle. So it gave me like a little bit of a square where I can add that foam tape and actually make it look like the butterfly is flying off of the page. Now, you can lay this flat if that's better for you, but I thought this would be a nice touch. Now, I did want to pull a little bit more black in, and I'm going to do that with some sequins. These sequins are black, like iridescent, so they're going to be able to pick up a lot of the color I have on here, but it'll have a black base. So again, I'm just bringing in a little bit of that black and adding just a few of these gems. Now, I don't want to go overboard with the gems, but I do want to make sure I kind of fill out this space nicely. As you can see, I wanted to kind of follow the path of my butterflies, but I'm also going to add one on the outside of each butterfly area. So you're going to see I put one outside the red, and I'm going to put one a little bit off on the pink, just to kind of fill up some of those spaces. And I am using different sizes of these gems as well. I want to say these were pretty pink posh gems, but I'll make sure to list it below. Now, if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe so you can see beautiful cards like this when I make them. That card is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I did not want anything to compete with this. I really wanted this to be the star of the show. So I'm just going to back this on a white card base. This again is the Gina K Luxe White Cardstock. And I went ahead and trimmed down my paper so I can get a 5x7 card. So I can go ahead and put that into my score buddy, make me a score line, and then I have a nice large card. Now, the reason I went with 5x7, one, it gave my butterflies a little bit more area to be on my card, but you can definitely do this in a smaller size. Your butterflies just might be a little bit smaller, or they might overlap a bit. So that's why I chose to do this larger card size. I went ahead and used some Gina K glue on here, and now my card is complete. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And don't forget to check me out on my other social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I also have a blog. All right, everybody, till next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.